This is Nick from Nintendo Dads. We present our review of Snowboarding The Next Phase. Snowboarding The Next Phase was published by Red Bull Media House and developed by Session Games. We want to give them both a big shout out for giving us a code so that we could get our Nintendo Dad folks a review. Now let's jump into this first iteration of a snowboard game on the Switch. It seems like it was a long time in the coming and you think there'd be many more, but really, if you like snowboarding, this is really your only option. There are three main modes: career, multiplayer, and arcade. In the career mode, as you do different goals and objectives, you unlock some customizations. You have outfits and you have boards. There are quite a few outfits and quite a few boards that you can choose from, which is nice, but that's really as far as it goes. It's not super deep. You get to choose the outfit, and that changes the hat, coat, pants, and shoes. You can't mix and match any of those things. You do get to mix and match the board and the outfit, but that's it. And then the second thing that we have here as kind of like an extra is these vehicles. I was really excited when I saw these because I thought I would have the opportunity to drive around in them. And all they are is you can choose different vehicles and they help your score multiplier when you're doing jumps. That was a real frustration and just a sad point. I wanted much more than that with those vehicles. I wanted to be able to drive those things around the slope. The controls for Snowboarding Next Phase are really simple. Anybody can pick them up. I have a 5-year-old and you will watch him play in multiplayer with me, which is great. I think that's wonderful, but for those of you who want a deeper snowboarding game, you're gonna feel a little let down here. You're gonna pull off some awesome jumps. You're gonna think you're doing amazing things, but you're really not gonna feel like you earned them because they're just so easy to do. So now that we got the extras out of the way, what you are watching here is career mode. Career mode, there are multiple slopes. Each slope has 9 objectives: 3 bronze, 3 silver, 3 gold. You can see some of the objectives that I have to do on this slope up in the top left corner. I believe these are the gold objectives for this particular slope. There are quite a few slopes. They're all supposed to be kind of off of real places on the map. How much they mimic real places, I don't know, because I don't snowboard and I didn't really look up to see how close they were. But with that said, I think the real missed opportunity in career mode is just simply this. You don't race against real people, you don't even race against computer players, you just race against yourself trying to get these objectives. That's fine, but I think that's a real missed opportunity. The other thing I wanted to point out is coming up right here. This red icon here, that's a photo spot. So this is being captured. It changes the view and this is being captured and they take a picture of it. The crazy thing is, and I don't know of another Switch game that I own that does this, that is automatically saved to my photo reel. I wish they wouldn't do that. I don't really want all these pictures taking up space on my photo reel. I wish at the end of my run they'd show me that picture and give me option to save it or not save it. Most of the pictures I have on my photo reel of this game are anticlimactic, to say the least. They're just me probably failing or bailing on a run. So here you go. You can see some of the different places you go. Each zone has 3 different. So like the green line zone has the candy bowl, the eagle horn, and you can see I've done so many of the objectives already. So you go into the one you want to do. It shows you the objectives you have done and what you have left, and then you choose and you jump right in. To go into the realism of this game or how it feels, this game by no means is super realistic. You can really do some crazy things. When you hit certain jumps, if you don't hit them right on, they will say that you failed that jump. But it doesn't really. There's no real penalty for it other than you just lose some points. He immediately hops right back up and you get to keep on going with your run. If you don't hit it, if you hit it pretty much off, they'll give you a sketchy. And then there's good, great, and then if you really hit it well, they'll say stomped, just like it did right there. So, and that's fine and all, but it's definitely more of an arcade snowboarder. It's by no means a what you would consider like a realistic snowboarding game. Okay, so we'll jump into multiplayer real quick so that you can get a feel for what that looks like. Multiplayer you're going to find here is a vertical split screen, 2-player only. You get to choose what your player looks like, not what your player end board looks like. Just you choose a player and then you move on. Once you select that, you don't get to choose a slope or anything like that. It just drops you into a random slope and you're off. The two of you, it's not timed, it's not a race. You're not on the slope together at the same time. You're on like opposite slopes doing the run at the same time, and you're just trying to see who can get the most points off of your jumps. It's not a race. No time, no nothing. Doesn't matter who finishes first. So that's somewhat disappointing. I mean, it's fun for a while. After you're done, it'll show you who won. It'll keep track of your win streak, who has the most wins and all that stuff. And that's fine and all. I just feel like you're not going to see a lot of difference here between what you saw in career mode, except there is no objectives. It's purely just score. It works okay for what they're trying to do here. I just really wish that they would put the two of you on the course at the same time so that you could race or do a little bit more with this than just what it is. So the last mode in Snowboarding the Next Phase, the arcade mode, and if I may say, I think this is the best mode in this game because there are leaderboards and I had a lot of fun in this mode. So here's how it works. You have the 3 objectives just like you had in career mode. 3 objectives you can see there: land a single front flip, land a single back flip, score 10,000 points. Pretty easy. With those objectives, you get 3 lift tickets. If in one run you don't do at least one of the 3 objectives, you lose a lift ticket. If you can get at least one done, then you don't lose a lift ticket and you get to do another run to try to get the other objectives. So there's a little bit of strategy here of like, okay, which objectives am I going to go for first? What can I do that I need to get done, and how far can I make it? I had fun here because I got done with my first run and I thought I was like number 13 on the overall rankings list, and I thought, well, I can get into top 10, and so that really made me want to play again. Hence, this is the reason that I think career mode needs to be with people, or at least computer players, to push you forward, because after a while you just get tired of playing and trying to beat an objective or beat your own what you have already done. And so I really found this to be a fun mode, and it can go on for quite a while. I mean, you get good and you can really be doing a lot of slopes before you lose those 3 lift tickets. So my final thoughts on Snowboarding the Next Phase. It's the Snowboarding the Next Phase has a nice low entry of difficulty. For people who are new to snowboarding like myself, it does one thing. It does a couple things, sorry. It's not super difficult to get the hang of because it's got that arcadey feel. 2, I do love how it shows down below as you start twisting and turning that guy in the air. It shows what your move is. I learned a lot about how to do an off-axis jump and what that was, and all different kinds of things and tweaks and grabs, which you can do that. I should have said that in the beginning. You can grab your board and tweak your grabs and stuff like that. I did learn a lot about snowboarding for a guy who the bar to learn a lot to snowboarding was pretty low, since it's not something that I do or have done, or really, I mean, I watch it in the Winter Olympics. That's my gig, and I that's it really. So for that, and for somebody like me, this game really is kind of a fun entry to that. Would I play it a ton? Probably not. There needs to be a little bit more depth in the modes than what's in here. I don't mind the controls, but I mind the fact that there's just not a ton to do. But for somebody who's looking for that realistic snowboarding game, unfortunately, I don't think that Snowboarding the Next Phase is that game for you on the Switch. But as I've said, unfortunately, if you're into a snowboarding game, this is it on the Switch. So with that said, this game is $10 on the eShop right now. So the pickup, it's a pretty light pickup. It's not going to run you a ton of money. I think that the arcade mode is probably worth the $10. I think the career mode, as I've said, is probably the most lackluster of them all, with the multiplayer being somewhere in the middle. So if you like what you see here, and you're okay with parting with $10 to get it, I think you'll have some fun. If you're really into snowboarding, maybe this will be enough to hold you to want to finish up that career mode. There's a lot of meat to that mode, but again, it is doing a lot of the same thing over and over and over, just the difficulty slowly ramps up, and that difficulty does ramp up pretty slow. It's not a quick entry into more difficult objectives. So if you like what you see here, you know what you're getting into. Pick it up, $10, eShop, available now. Hey, this is Nick from Nintendo Dads. Hope this helped you make a decision on this game. Signing out. See you later. Game over.